wearing lifts,
bleep
right?
that. Bleep my bad language, please.
Yeah, no, we'll just bleep that out, yeah. All right, so we're here with Ashley Weston, and if you don't know about her, which I'm sure you do, she has a wildly popular YouTube channel. She's a celebrity menswear stylist. And today, of course, since there's the Modest Man, we're talking about dressing the shorter body type. So I know you've probably had clients of all different shapes and sizes.
Oh, yes.
So I want to know, just in general, what have you learned about dressing the smaller or shorter man?
Well, I definitely have dressed a wide range of men from 5'2" all the way up to Shaq's what, 7 something?
3 or
7
something.
So I've dressed all heights and sizes. And so for me, with my clients that are on the shorter side, the biggest thing and the biggest challenge of my job, and if I've done it right, is where when I dress them for an event and they get photographed, their height never even becomes a topic. I would have to say most of my friends, fans, people that I introduce my clients to, they're shocked because they're usually big fans of my clients, so I'll introduce them, and they're always shocked by how not as tall as they thought they were going to be.
In real life.
In real life. And so that's the thing, is that with dressing for your height, you just have to understand proportions and really nail down the fit and how things look in proportion to the rest of your body. And if you do it right, no one's gonna even know, and realize that, oh, you're on the shorter side. They're just gonna be like, wow, most people just pay attention to how incredible they look. But for me, it's like, if I've done my job right, people are gonna be shocked usually when they finally meet someone in person and they're like, oh, I thought you were a lot taller. Man, you look so tall on the red carpet. It's like, well, that's my job.
Yeah, nice.
Make people look taller.
Yeah, that's. I feel like my mission too is to help people to make it so the first thing someone notices about you isn't your height. Yeah. It's like, wow, that's a well-dressed man.
Exactly.
And like, wow, he's actually kind of short, But that's like the second thing maybe.
Yeah, it's usually something that if you're dressing right and everything's in proportion to your body frame, most people don't even think about the height. Right. It's like way last thing that they're gonna notice. Most of the time it's just going to be everything else that you're wearing and that you're doing and how you carry yourself that they're going to pay attention to.
Cool. So you're always doing all these little tweaks on whoever you're styling, right? And no matter what shape or size they are, you're like pinning them up and doing like temporary alterations and just fixing everything. So is there anything that is like more difficult with the shorter man when you're trying to just make them look perfect for that shoot?
Not so much. It's just really making sure that the length of their jackets hits around mid-crotch, because I don't want it longer than that, because then their torso ends up looking a lot longer than their bottom halves. So their legs end up looking really short, and that's what's going to highlight your height. If a shorter man wants to really pay attention to things, it's really making sure the fit and the pattern are in proportion to your body. So jackets should definitely hit mid-crotch, and then everything else should just be tailored to how it typically would be for any man. So a quarter of an inch of your shirt sleeve should be exposed if you're wearing a sport coat or a suit. Your pants should have no more than a slight break, either no break or a slight break, and that's it. Because if you have a full break in your pants, that's now cutting your legs even shorter than they are at the ankle. So it's just things, you want to just have everything lay nicely. And with patterns, I think a big part that a lot of men overlook in terms of, regardless of their build or their height, is what should the scale of the pattern be. So if you are a shorter guy, even if you're thin or maybe a little bit wider, but if you're a bit on the shorter side, you want to make sure the scale is smaller. So with a gingham pattern, for instance, you don't want a big gingham pattern like that maybe someone 6'2" would be wearing. Right. You actually want it to be tighter, like a tighter pattern.
So smaller in scale. Same pattern, just smaller in scale. Yeah.
So stripes, houndstooth, like any kind of patterns, you want it a lot smaller in scale.
Okay. So knowing that your pattern should be small in scale, are there any patterns, because shorter guys are often told don't wear horizontal stripes, but if they're small in scale, is it okay?
Horizontal stripes, I mean, I put my clients that are on the shorter side in horizontal stripe t-shirts all the time. It's perfectly fine. I'm not gonna ever really put them in a horizontally striped pant, for instance.
Yeah, right. Or like a rugby stripe, like big, thick stripes. You're not going to do that.
No, I would do, if I'm going to do a color blocking, maybe a stripe that's just on the chest, I'll just make sure the scale of it is smaller. So the stripe isn't super thick and wide, it's just going to be a little bit thinner. Gotcha. So it's just really making sure the scale of patterns is fine, but there's no patterns I would avoid on my clients. I've never done that ever, and I've never seen them look like, oh man, I shouldn't have done that. They look really short.
Right.
The only time you're ever going to say that, to, like, look at someone and be like, man, they are looking short today, is if something's not tailored properly.
Okay, and that's more about the fit than the pattern. Okay,
yeah.
So are there any other like rules? Because like you hear all these like, so if you Google like style advice for short men, you'll find something on GQ and it's like 10 things every short man should know or whatever, and it'll say stuff like never wear a double-breasted suit. And I mean, I believe that you can wear a double-breasted suit as long as it fits properly. So what do you think about that one, the double-breasted suit?
I've definitely, if you would just Google my name and who my clients are, you'd be surprised with the ones that, with basically some of my clients that are on the shorter side, that some of the things I've put on them. So I've had them in double-breasted suits. I've had them where I've hem the pants so that a little bit of their ankle is exposed. I don't care about, wearing dark socks that match your suit pants because then it'll elongate your legs. Right. Those rules I don't care about, and they're not necessary if you are a shorter guy. I don't think it's limiting for shorter men. I think the biggest thing is just making sure that the fit is proportional to your body type. It's all about proportions. Okay. So making sure things just hit a certain way on your body. Your height doesn't limit you with the clothes that you're wearing. Right. It just limits you maybe with the clothes, like in terms of how they fit and if they're too long on you or too short. Right. And that's what you kind of want to stay away from. But that's any guy's problem regardless of your height.
Right, yeah, so it might require like a little bit of extra tailoring or something. But okay, cool. So here's one that's kind of controversial, and I want your opinion not only as a stylist, but also just as a woman on this one. So, and it's actually a funny question for you because, of course, Dorian, your fiance, is on the other side of the spectrum. He's a very tall guy. Yeah. But for shorter guys, including your clients, what do you think about elevator shoes or lifts?
Lifts, I have plenty of people that I know that wear lifts in their regular sneakers.
So like inserts not a shoe build for...
Not a shoe build. So I have plenty of guys that have worn lifts inside. It's an insert inside their sneaker. Okay. This is the thing. If it makes you feel more comfortable, do it. I'm not going to say, no, that's a horrible idea. You should embrace your height. If it makes you feel more confident and more comfortable to wear an insert that makes you maybe an inch, 2 inches, whatever, taller, then do it. Yeah. I'm all about just making sure men feel confident, and it's not ruining the look. It's not like you're wearing a platform shoe or a boot with a 3-inch heel at the back. If you're doing that, that just looks absolutely ridiculous, and that clearly shows you're trying to compensate for your height. But if it's something that subtle where you could just put an insert that lifts you up a little and you feel taller and it allows you to feel more confident and comfortable with yourself, by all means, go ahead and do it.
So say you're wearing lifts or elevator shoes.
Yeah.
You meet somebody and then the shoes come off later, right? So now they find out that you were wearing lifts or whatever. I think a lot of guys feel like that would be a problem. Do you think that's a problem? Like that someone would, like your friends or like a romantic partner or someone would know?
See, here's the thing. I think a lot of men don't understand what women end up actually overlooking if they're really, truly into someone. For me, if Dorian has a pimple or like a bump on his head or something, I don't look at that. I'm so in love with him or I'm so into him that my eyes and your brain automatically overlooks any kind of imperfections. You look at the person that you are really loving or digging.
Who you know them to be,
Yeah. No one's going to judge you on if you are wearing lifts. I mean, how tall are we talking though? Like what difference?
Well, all right, say you're 5'6", you got 2-inch lifts, so you're 5'8" at the bar.
Oh my gosh, no. Most women don't even know a 2-inch difference from men. Like, you ask, I guarantee you, if you just line up a bunch of women and you ask them, how tall's 5'6", everyone's going to have a different version of it. They don't know, and they're not going to know. They're not going to care once they do find out, if they ever find out. No one's looking inside your shoe to see, does he have lifts in there? So it's not even going to be an issue, especially if a woman's into you.
Yeah. I feel the same way about like online dating, for example. You know, if you can put your height in your profile, a lot of guys say, you know, should I lie about my height? Like, or first of all, everybody lies about their height in online dating.
Everyone that I work with lies about their height.
Everybody, yeah. Just Google like any celebrity's height, and you'll see that someone's lying about it. Yeah.
I can confirm that.
Right, and I say, you know, do it, right? So you know, say you're an inch or two taller if that helps you meet people, because once you meet them and they get to know you, that's the important part, right? They won't
100%,
care.
100%. Yep.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Okay, so back to style. You work with all these different brands. Have you found that any brands tend to flatter the shorter body type or like run shorter?
Yeah. Well, you know what? Actually, here's the thing. So with my shorter clients, I'm very specific with sizing. So I only will focus on brands that offer jackets or suiting in short sizes. So whether that's a 38/48 short, you know, and so forth. I won't do regular sizes. They all have to be short sizes. Okay. So it just depends, because some brands don't make that kind of range. Like a lot of brands out there will make a short, regular, and long.
Right.
Size range. And
so some stop at like a certain size, like they won't have like a 34 short, you know?
Yes. That's tougher, because I do have some clients that are 34 short, which is very small, and it's really tough. But there are some brands out there that, from Saint Laurent and Givenchy all the way down to J. Crew and Topman, will make those sizes. Okay. So it's just knowing, okay, what are my sizes, and then figure out the brands within your price range that can fit that. So it just depends. I've worked with a bunch of different brands, but I definitely have my go-to brands, depending on what I'm looking for my shorter clients that are short. But for suiting, I mean, I mostly deal with a lot with suiting with my clients, because it's all for their premieres and talk show appearances. So I like everything from Armani, Zegna, not Burberry. Burberry's just very long. It's for the taller man. And Hugo Boss makes great one, Brooks Brothers, Dolce & Gabbana. But it's just making sure that you get the the short size, because that really makes a difference. You don't ever want to do a regular, because a lot of times showrooms will be like, oh, just take the regular, you can tailor it down. And it's like, no, you can't, because all the proportions end up getting thrown off. Now, if I shorten the jacket's so short that the button's like almost like right at the...
Yeah, the pocket's right next to the hem. And
things just start to look weird. So it's just making sure that you find the brands that carry your specific size and stick with that, and don't settle for anything less.
Okay, and then going custom is an option, but probably for you, since you're getting things ready, you have a deadline, you don't really have time to go custom very often. But would you recommend that for someone who has a tough to fit body type, if they have the time and money?
I mean, you can. The thing is, though, it just depends on what exactly your size is. Like, if it's so extreme where you really are limited now to maybe one or two brands, and maybe that's just you're not feeling any of their items, then yeah, by all means go custom. Shirts especially. I always advocate custom shirts if you're a very tough size, or if you constantly find that you have to tailor your items. There are plenty of inexpensive alternatives out there to get custom made shirts that fit your body perfectly. And then if you do have the money and you want to get a bunch of different types of materials and patterns and colors for your suits, then yeah, you can do that. But if you're within a size, like maybe a 36 or a 38, 40, well, these are US sizes, then if you're within a certain range, I would say between 36 and 42 short, you should be able to, there's actually plenty of brands out there where you can go and just buy them and then get it tailored. But
so first try off the rack, you know, and like explore a bunch of different brands. If you really can't find something, custom is an option, but you know, first do some experimentation.
Yes.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of guys just don't try enough brands. You know what I mean? Like they kind of like stick to the mall brands, and like there might be a brand out there that you've never tried that's perfect, and you just don't know because you've never tried.
Agreed. Yeah. Yes, 100%.
Nice. Yeah. So you worked with a bunch of celebrities, like all different types of people. Is there anybody, client or otherwise, just anybody out there that is really just nailing it with their style, that's like under 5'8", just like a good example that people can use?
I think the person that I've worked with, actually, I'm not his stylist, but I've worked with him on a couple shoots, that I think does a very good job, especially for how challenging his height is. But I think he has the swagger and coolness, and his style really is very him. Kevin Hart.
Oh yeah.
Kevin Hart just kills it. Kevin Hart's 5'1", 5'2".
Yeah, so he's on the shorter side of short.
Yes, but he is just nailing it with all of his clothes, and he wears every designer out there. He doesn't stick to just one designer. There's a bunch of different designers, but he gets everything tailored so well that when you look at him on the red carpet, you don't even think about, oh, he's so short, unless he's standing next to his wife, who's like 5'8".
Yeah, she's quite a bit taller. Yeah,
yeah,
but he
she's
just
very
like
tall.
he just owns it though. That's what I love about him.
No, he I think has fantastic style and really has so much fun. It's so much fun with his style, and that's someone that's tough to dress. 5'2" is very tough to dress.
Yeah.
So if he can do it, you all can do it.
So one thing I really admire about him, or I notice about him, is it's not that he avoids color, like he'll have like a pop of color, but he sticks a lot of the times to kind of like monochromatic, darker colors. And I think that's a good basic thing that a shorter guy can do who wants to start upgrading his style and doesn't really know where to start. Like that's one thing to do, like just go monochromatic for a while, or like analogous. Like don't wear like a white t-shirt and black jeans, wear like a dark gray t-shirt and black jeans.
Yeah,
and like
for
instantly
sure.
you're gonna look a little taller, you know? Well, this has been fantastic, thank you very much. And we'll put all your stuff in the show notes, but where can people learn more about you if they want to?
You guys can go to my website, ashleyweston.com, or my YouTube channel. Just type in the search engine Ashley Weston, and there you go.
Awesome, thank you.
Of course, thanks for having me.